You're listening to the Womanpreneur podcast. Empowerment in business and life.
Hey, welcome back to the Womanpreneur podcast. My name is Melissa Moats, and I am with my dear friend, the lovely and talented Amanda McEwen.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good. Should we tell everybody what we were just doing before we started to film?
Melissa was singing. She was singing Lady in Red while she's wearing a red dress, and we decided that she's singing about herself. And what does that mean?
I said, I guess I have just really solid self-esteem, but
and
we laughed.
I thought she was serenading me at first until I realized, nope, she's singing about herself.
No, I just was inspired by the red because you were like, I don't own a red dress. And I was like, do you want to borrow mine?
No.
We have this idea, my husband suggested that in a future episode, we're going to show up here and then we're going to trade clothes. So I'm going to wear Amanda's outfit and she's going to wear mine. That might be on a day where I'm wearing a yellow shirt with pink flowers all over it.
And that's not going to happen.
And I'll wear your
boundaries. We've talked about boundaries.
I'll wear your
on the show
elephant
before.
shirt any day of the week.
Of course you would wear the elephant shirt. You're
super cute.
Thank you. I'm not wearing the elephant shirt today, but if you tune into last week's episode, you can see what she's talking about.
It's very cute. Well, I'm just saying. But so we're really happy to be here. And we just came up with an idea with our awesome producer, Brent Mukai. Brent Mukai suggested it, and we were like, ooh, for this episode.
So we have nothing prepared, so we'll see what happens. We did an audible at the last minute because Melissa forgot something that she wanted for our other topic we had planned. So we're just going to go off the cuff here and see what we can do.
I think we always kind of go off the cuff, though, don't we?
We do.
mean, we've had a little time to think when we come up with our topics, but so you're going to be pretty excited, I think, about one of our future episodes. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay. So this current episode, however, the idea from Brent was, what would you tell your younger self?
Yeah.
And
to your future self.
To your future self.
And that's pretty profound. Brent Mukai got real deep on us. He's like, yeah, because we all want to start. We were talking about that and starting and how hard it is to start. And then we were talking about just do it. How did that go? Did you guys like my impression of that?
It's a solid Shia.
Yeah, ready? Do it. Yes.
Okay.
And this hand thing. And Amanda's like, what is that?
So for those of you who are listening, Melissa's just making some weird gestures that
My
make
arms,
no sense.
My arms and hands are wildly moving about.
She's
you're
flailing.
You're not missing much.
But you should still tune into the YouTube.
Yeah, if you're
I keep
curious.
saying the YouTube. But what I mean to say is the YouTube video, but I always stop it, and then it sounds like I'm that old lady that's calling it the YouTube when it's not that.
I like that.
It's not. This is the second time now, but the first time I didn't catch myself. I'm like, now it sounds like I just said the YouTube.
Tune into the YouTube.
Right.
Sonny?
No, that's not what I was trying to do.
Oh, I love it. So, man, that is such a good question, though, that Brent posed about what would you say to yourself, what age? Like, what's your vision, Brent? Like, give us the scenario so we can really run with it.
You know what? Let's take it from when you were first starting out doing what you are doing now.
Oh, it's interesting.
What entrepreneurial advice
do
you wish you had back then?
And the thing that's funny about that for me is, because the journey started a long time ago before I knew that was the journey I was on. So I just started working for myself 3 years ago. Before that, I'd worked full time for somebody else since I was 16. And people always assumed that I would own a business one day. And I never wanted that. I didn't want the responsibility. I felt like I've done all of this work and I've just work since I was 16 and gave up on a lot of the more fun things, maybe that what people think is fun. I still had a lot of fun, but I've always been very focused on working hard so I would get the payoff in the future. And I just didn't feel, for a long time, I felt I did not want the responsibility of being in charge of everything. I feel like my whole life I've been in charge of everything. And there's a time when you want to just lay back and let somebody else make the decisions and do the things.
Yeah.
But then it became, as the world changed, the economy crashed and companies changed and technology got involved and industries got different, it just became really clear to me not that long ago, but it's like the only way to really do this is to do it yourself. And
Yeah.
it's something that I felt my entire life, just do it yourself. You can't wait for somebody else to hand you things. You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And that applies to everything in my life. But it really just, it's that, and it's a lot, we talk about it, but instinct and trusting it. And I've always done all the research to figure out what makes sense. And then I kind of have to throw that all away and like, don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about what success is or how other people feel like you have to get there. Do what feels right to you and things are going to work out.
Yeah, there's not like a manual. There's not like I mean, maybe there is actually a manual, but like you said, throw caution to the wind. And you could read the book if you wanted to, but you got to write your own story. And we've talked about that before in other episodes. But I kind of, if I didn't want to finish or interrupt your thought, but if
You just did.
yeah.
I'm so kidding. I'm so kidding. No, I was done. You should go.
I am so big on manners, and I didn't want to interrupt your
Okay,
thought,
so
Amanda
sweet of you.
McEwen.
Please
But-
tell me your insight.
No, my thought was, well, interestingly enough, and I've shared this story before with like classes I teach and stuff for voice acting, but when I was a really little girl, I was really big into writing in a journal, and I was really big into what I wanted to do when I grew up. And it was, I really had a lot of ideas in my head about doing creative things and singing and performing. And I used to write it down in detail the way that I saw it. And little did I know I was doing a lot of manifesting, as a kid, and just really thinking about it, visualizing it, writing it down. And it was just something that I did a lot. And I knew I really wanted to do commercials. It was something that I wanted to do. And I didn't know how I was going to do that. But I used to talk about it all the time, tell everybody I was going to do it. So I think back to when you were a kid and what was the stuff that, was speaking to you and what was on your heart, what did you see yourself doing? That was just something that popped in my head as you were talking. And then for me, writing to my future self, if I were to go back to maybe the beginning of my voiceover journey, I think I would have told myself to not be so hard on myself because I was still learning something new, and to be patient. And I was pretty patient, but I was comparing myself to people who had been doing it for a lot of years. And I was like, oh, they're so good. I want to be so good too. I want to read like they read, or it just seems like second nature to them. Well, it was second nature to them because they had like decades under their belt. And now here I am 2 decades into my career, and people say, oh, it just seems so natural and effortless for you. And I'm thinking, I've read like 90,000 pieces of copy, no joke. So it's like, yeah, I've got like I got like a trend going now, I've got like a flow. That's the
Right.
word I was looking for, not trend. But so I don't know. I think I would say to my younger self, or myself getting started in my career, just trust your instincts, similar to what you said, or same thing you said, and enjoy the journey. Just enjoy the learning, and know it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
I would say, and this might sound weird, but appreciate the struggle. Because
Struggle's the best part, actually.
it's not when you're going through it, it's the worst. But those times when we're so conflicted and feeling like we're doing all of these things and we're not getting the results right away, or whatever that might be, that is what leads to those lessons that make us better, that make us stronger, that make us able to move to that next level of where we want to be. Because it's not easy. A lot of things, they are easy in the long run.
They're easy when you're through them and you're looking back at them.
Right.
But when you're in the moment, it's frustrating, it's scary, it's overwhelming, it's pressure. But some of my fondest memories in my whole life are looking back at my 20s and like when I was trying to figure stuff out and I was super broke or like just scraping pennies together to go buy some Taco Bell for dinner and like, putting $5 at a time in my gas tank and stuff like that. But
there's something in appreciating that.
yeah.
And because when you do build your business and then you are successful and then you have more money and you have all these things that you've been working for, sometimes I think you lose the appreciation for those small things or the fun. And I'm very limited with my resources. What can I do to have fun right now? And a lot of that comes down to just when you don't have anything.
You really use your creativity.
Exactly. And I think sometimes you can miss that when things get better. And it's great when things are better, but you want to carry some of that with you, I think.
Yeah, I think too, sometimes when you get to a point where if things start to get too cushy and you're not challenging yourself, things can get really stagnant. You stop growing, and that's not good. You want to always be in a state of growing and challenging yourself. But if you start finding yourself complaining about things and things are really good for you, maybe you need to challenge yourself.
Right.
Start scaring yourself. Come up with some new goals.
Well, I think that it's a good lesson, and it again maybe sounds a little bit weird, but you shouldn't let yourself get comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's not that you want to be uncomfortable all the time,
Right.
because that's uncomfortable. That's not fun.
Right.
But there's something to be said about that complacency of, okay, now I've mastered this skill, or I've gotten to a place where I can just do this in my sleep. I'm on autopilot now. There's really not a ton of reward for me. And some people are very happy with that. They want to go to their 9-to-5 job. They know exactly what they're going to do day in and day out, and they're perfectly fine with that, taking their paycheck.
They're content.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, we all have different things that we want. There's still a part of me that misses the security of being employed by somebody else. I miss the health benefits. I miss the 401k with employer match. I miss vacation days and paid holidays and all those fun things. But I wouldn't change anything, because the freedom that I have and the ability to, okay, maybe I don't get a paid day off, but I get a lot of time that I don't have to do any work and I'm still doing just as well. That's pretty fun too. So it's finding that if you get too comfortable, that's not always a good thing, because you're capable of more. So why not push yourself to find that next thing that's going to challenge you, but is going to give you another reward that maybe you didn't expect yet.
Yeah, it's tapping into your unlimited potential, and it really is unlimited. It's just what you're willing to do.
Right. Yeah.
I heard a quote recently that I really liked. It's on topic, but it's off topic. But whatever. I'm going to tell you what it is.
It's fine.
Yeah. The quote is, "The way you do one thing is how you do everything."
Huh. What do you think that means?
It meant a lot of things to me. So I started thinking about things I do, like everything that I do. And I was thinking about the way that I go about doing things. And one thing I'll say is, like, I was seeing my trend. The way that I roll is I care, and I'm thorough, and I really give the best of myself as much as I possibly, whatever I have to give, I put into it. But I was thinking about just how profound that little statement was. And what does it mean to you? How do you feel about
I've
it?
never heard it before. But
what's your first impression of it?
I would have to think about it. But I think that's it. I mean, because I do things the same. Everything I do with my full effort.
Yeah.
And that could be the smallest thing, because I feel like everything that I do is representative of who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And so I don't ever want to go into something and not give my full effort.
I agree.
And that's with everybody. It's how I treat people, how I treat my work, the level of dedication that I put into everything in my life. And again, there's always balance. It's not to say that, again, that everything has to be all work. But I mean, even when I do things that are fun, I give my full effort to that too.
You give full effort of fun. Even when you're chopping up celery and making yourself a celery drink, I bet you put a lot into that.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know why
I
I'm
juice
laughing.
that celery
Yeah,
to the best of my ability.
and you drink it to the best of your
I sure
ability
do.
You overachiever, you.
Well, it's not, like I said, it's not the best tasting stuff in the world, but
Hey, you're
managed to do
committed.
it.
You're committed. No, it's just a thought. Did you like the quote, Brent?
I love the quote. I think it's just 100% true. Because it's like, yeah.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say so many things that you do outside of what you do affects how you then operate in the world, and people don't even realize how much it's affecting them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's really something to think about and look at is how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you were to start really looking at how you do certain tasks or how you are in certain situations or with people or how you do your work or how you clean your home or how you, whatever, fill in the blank, how you chop your celery, it all works together to get you the results in your life. So it's
I have
just,
a follow-up question for you.
what's your follow-up question?
All right. What is a piece of advice that you've gotten over the years? What is something that's really like impacted you?
I've got one.
Go. I've got to think about it.
A piece of advice that's really impacted me was given to me by my dad, and he still gives me the same piece of advice. He's a business owner too, but it's not just applying to business. It's applying to anything in your life. And he said, if you want to be successful at anything, you need to master consistency. In being consistent. He said, if you want a result from anything, so think of anything that you've ever wanted to do or you want to do, the act of being consistent, doing it over and over and over again, that's going to get you a result, whether you're in the mood to do it or you're not in the mood to do it, or you're tired or you've got other things you want to be doing. I think that's one of the best pieces of advice that I was ever given, was just being consistent, whether it's in your health or in your business or in your personal life. That's one good one.
Okay. Yeah, my dad taught me when I was a kid, he said, save 10% of everything you make. And it's just something that simple, and I listened, and I'm glad that I listened. I still listen. I encourage everybody to do that, because that savings, even though there are times things fluctuate and situations happen and you spend money and this and that, but if you have that approach of that, being mindful of where your money goes, that has helped me my entire life, because we need money. We need things to run well. And when you're a business owner, you're starting your own thing, especially, you need to have a safety net, because business fluctuates and you don't know what's going to happen. And there's just a lot of things. And my grandpa always says, make sure you have your rainy day fund. But at the same time, though, you need to be able to not just wait for a rainy day. You need to be able to jump straight in and say, I've got a rainy day fund. Now I can move some of this over and be like, I'm going to do what I want to do fund.
Yeah. Because if you live in Las Vegas, we hardly ever get a
right.
rainy day.
Well, so your savings account should be up
huge.
There. Yeah, it should be up there.
Massive.
And then I would say the other thing is when I came to I knew I needed out of my job. I had been there for almost 10 years. I wasn't learning. I wasn't being challenged. I was bored. The people who had made it fun, which was a big part of why I had stayed for so long, they were starting to move into different places. And everything changed. It was not fun anymore. I didn't look forward to it. I was like, I'm getting burnt out on this. I need to do something new. And I'm very methodical. We know this. I think a lot. So it took me a long time to figure out, okay, first, what do I want to do? Like, I'm going to go do my own thing, but what is that? What services can I offer? Where is there a need for me? Who do I know? All of those things. So it took me time. I even went back to school to see if maybe I could learn something. I didn't. And I don't mean that to say that I know everything, but what I did realize is what they were teaching in business school, I already knew all of that, because I've been doing it for so long. It wasn't, which
you
was
were already
good,
living and breathing
right.
it.
And I don't feel that was wasteful, because that triggered some things. It was like, look, I know what I'm doing. I can help people with this, because if people are spending thousands of dollars to go to school to learn just the basics, but they're not teaching you the important parts of business, how to deal with people and clients, and just there's so much more than the basics of accounting and what a ledger means. And everything in that business program was very basic. But there's so many other little facets of business that people need to learn. That was what kind of triggered it for it. How can I use my knowledge and expertise to help people? Because I didn't have anybody to teach that to me. I had to go to school, and then I had to learn by doing. I think learning by doing is a great way to learn too, by the way. But when I was deciding to leave, of course it's very scary. I've had steady income since I was a teenager, and I'm going to give that up. And people say that they're going to hire me and want to work with me, but people talk a lot, and it doesn't mean that they're going to do it. I have this safety net. I've been very, we know I like a deal, and I'm good with budgeting. So I've built my safety net. So I'm feeling kind of okay. But of course I asked everybody I knew who was a business owner or freelancer, whatever you want to call it, and got very conflicting advice, of course. But one of my was he the first? I think the first person who actually hired me on my own is a guy named Matt Wilkinson from Abe Froman Productions, which I love because Abe Froman and Ferris Bueller and all of that, Sausage King of Chicago, for those of you who don't know. But he was very encouraging. He was just like, just do it. Just go. Like, don't, it's so good. He's like, you're going to love it. And it was that simple of stop thinking so much. Just do it.
Just do.
You know what you're doing. You're going to be fine. Yeah. Just do it.
And any of the mistakes you're going to make along the way are actually just all going to be learning experiences who are going that are going to make you be more well-rounded, more solution-oriented, a better problem solver, all of those different things. Go ahead.
And the other thing, and I got this from my friend Angie, and she and I have had very almost parallel careers, because it's when she goes into a business, I end up on my own, and it's vice versa. And we've never worked together, but we met. I hired her to replace me at my old job, and then I was like, I want to work with her though. But we became really good friends, and she had told me, she's like, you have to give it 3 years. I'm like, 3 years for what? What do you mean by that? And she said when she went freelance, that's what it took. Everybody that she knows that has done, started business, go freelance. I use those terms. Some people take offense to freelance. They're like, I'm a business owner. And some people are like, I'm not a business owner. I'm just a freelancer. So I just mean if you're working for yourself, basically. Right. And she had noticed the trend with everybody. Like, it really takes about 3 years to get your bearings, to understand, okay, what is the ebbs and flows, because we know that work is cyclical. We know that, in my case, summer is ridiculously slow. And that you just have to get used to that. And you can't go in a panic mode when you have a slow season. That's why you have that rainy day fund, right? That's why you put your 10% away. It's so that when there is no work and you're sitting at home wondering, am I ever going to work again? What did I do? What's happening here? What did I get myself into?
Did I offend someone? Right. And now every client that's ever worked with me knows, not to change the subject, but just to add to what you said.
Right.
I have a really good voiceover friend, who's been voicing as long as I have. And it was about maybe 2-3 years into our career. And, we were always comparing notes on things and how we were marketing ourselves and what we were doing. And it was right after the holiday season. And it gets so quiet. It's like you could hear crickets chirping, because we're so busy as commercial voice actors from like September through December doing so much holiday-based advertisement and stuff. We work at such a high, rapid rate of so much stuff going on. And then when it gets quiet for, 2-3 weeks, it feels grossly quiet, because, you went from this like raging river of work to nothing or a couple of jobs. And it's like, we'd call each other, hey man, what's going on with you? You're not busy either? Oh, whew. Okay, so you don't think all our clients just decided to stop calling us, right? Yeah, we'd have to like talk each other off the ledge. I mean, it was like...
It's just good to have that support person to remind you of that, because this year, this is my 3rd year, And I do feel like that, like this summer, it's been really, really slow, and I've loved it because
You've had a lot of fun.
I have had a lot of fun, but it's because I'm not worried about it, because I know last summer was slow too, and look what happened later in the year. It's
like,
all.
I need to get Amanda one of those like red and white striped shirts that's like, where's Waldo? It's been like, where's Amanda? I got to get you one of those little hats and those little glasses.
See if you can find me.
Yeah, she'll, I'm in Hawaii right now. Oh no, I'm on this other trip. I'm getting massages. I'm doing this. I'm like, look at you, girl. I'm happy for you. I'm like, I'm cheering.
I do, because I don't have the work right now, and the work is coming.
Oh, of course
this
it
is what
is.
I know, because now we're getting towards the end of summer the time of recording. By the time this airs, we're in October. I'm probably swamped. Let's hope that I'm swamped.
You're going to be swamped.
There's so much work. There's a plethora of work.
Of course there is.
So I have to look back on my summer fun and say, like, yeah, well, of course. It's because you learn how to take advantage of that and not worry. But again, it's why my dad's advice in the first place of saving 10%. I've said this on the show before, but I'm a big believer in doing the percentage. And that's because when it is really busy, then you're putting more money away, which helps cover the times when it's really slow.
That is
advice.
exceptional advice.
It helps, but it's also a trust factor, and it's a good piece of advice. Is trust yourself. You can't just, when it's slow, you can't just stop. I mean, yes, you can go wander the world and do some things, but at the same time, you still have to be working and thinking and brainstorming. And for me, it's all about this podcast right now, and it's like, how can we take this to the next level? Because of all the things that I do for work, and we know that it's all varied, and I do a lot. This is what's the most fun.
I know.
So this is the part that I have to focus on, because I want to have more fun.
It's
not
a
that
lot
I
of
don't
fun.
like my other work, but if we can do this more often.
Womanpreneurs just want to have fun.
I don't know if that has the same ring.
Womanpreneurs just want to have fun.
I'm going to let you go on your own with this one, because can you do this chorus?
Womanpreneur, they want to have fun. Womanpreneur.
Our new theme song. You heard it first. Thanks, Cyndi Lauper, for the inspiration.
Hey, yeah, we appreciate you. Little shout out to Cyndi Lauper. She has pink hair. I love her. This is a good episode, I think. It's going pretty well, considering.
There's that confidence from wearing the red dress.
Yeah.
You're liking what we're doing.
It's my power color. I never really wear red very often. That's why I bought this dress.
Right.
It's like, see if I can rock it.
We're going to go off topic, because that's what we do. Another thing that I guess I would have to tell my younger self is one day you're going to receive a severed hand in the mail. And that's going to become a thing. So for those of you listening and watching, you understand I don't do high fives. Melissa loves high fives. We mention it pretty much every episode. You might be sick of hearing about it.
We don't care.
Fine.
I don't care.
Because I don't participate, and it's now become this running joke with us. The first thing that happened was Melissa sent me a paper high five. So I get this piece of mail, and it's got the Moats address in it, and I thought, oh, okay, well, what is she sending me? It's real thin. I just open it up. There's a little folded piece of paper in it, and it just says, what was it, high five.
It's called like a From the Desk of Melissa Moats paper high five.
Paper high five. So
yeah.
Right. So she sends me a high five that I can't reject.
But it says the reason you are receiving this high five, is because of this. And then there are a whole bunch of different boxes to check. Like, you are awesome. You are appreciated.
She said some really nice things about me in it. So it's balance. Again, I'm giving you this high five that I know you hate, but I'm going to say nice things about you, so you'll deal with it.
I was telling her why she was receiving the high five. Mm-hmm. You don't just get high vibes for no reason.
Right. Well,
I'm telling you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So then fast forward till yesterday when I checked the mail. This time it's a little bubble envelope from the Moats address. And I'm like, what is she sending me now? And I open it, and there's a couple gift cards in there. Because she and Troy they're just very generous people, and it's always, they'll just send me these random things to say thank you for the work that I do for the studio. And I thought that was it, actually. I was actually going to throw the envelope into my recycling, and I realized there's something else in there. And so here's where you might want to tune in to our video version, because I'm going to show you as I open this envelope, and inside, it's a creepy little severed hand. That Melissa mailed me a creepy little severed hand, and she wrote the word hi around its severed wrist. So this is, it's really creepy. It kind of, you know.
It's a high five that you can't refuse.
It's a high five. So now I've got this weird.
Ready?
There we go. We're going to high five Melissa with a weird, creepy, what did she say earlier? It's like a little baby hand.
It's like a little
but it's pretty detailed. It's got knuckles and the lines, and it is
very realistic.
Of course, it led to all these, and yes, now I have a severed hand in my pocket because that's what a normal person does.
There's been a lot of conversation around this little creepy severed hand. So
number one, we all think that Melissa Moats is this nice, sweet, innocent woman, but she's sending body parts in the mail. Like, who does that? And that was actually my text message to Melissa was like, who sends a severed hand in the mail?
Yeah.
And
I was so excited to receive that.
She has been waiting for me to get the mail. I don't always check the mail very often, so
in my defense,
go ahead.
And you did actually ask this because you had a conversation with someone about.
Yeah, well, we had two theories. Okay, and neither sounds better than the other. Number one, does Melissa just have a severed hand laying around the house
to mail?
Where did this come from? What are her and Troy into that they have just severed hands laying around? Or did Melissa seek out severed hand, and how did that come about? Do you find that on Amazon? And how do you search for it?
Right. So I said it was option C, which was I was out shopping and I was in the store that just had all kinds of randomness inside of it. And I look over and I see this basket of hands. And
basket of hands. She sees basket of hands and she thinks, Amanda.
No, I looked at it and I picked it up and I studied it and then I put it back. And then all of a sudden, the little light bulb over, your head, ding. I was like, I think I might get this and send it to Amanda. And that would be really fun. And then I was like, I wonder what she'll say. So I just decided to go for it and buy the hand. And my sister was with me and she's like, why do you have a creepy smile on your face right now? I was standing in line to pay for it. She's like, what's going on with you? And I was like, see this creepy hand? I think I'm going to mail this to Amanda McEwen. And she's like, why? And I said, because she doesn't like to high five me and I'm going to force a high five upon her in the mail. And she's like, weird. And so I went home and I took out this really fine Sharpie marker and I wrote on the wrist the word hi, H-I-G-H, so that when you opened it, you would know right away that it was a high five. I was so excited. And then I got a hold of Abby because she knows all about it and my sister, and I was like, I mailed this creepy little hand to Amanda and I cannot wait. I have no idea when she's going to get it.
And I do want to emphasize, if I haven't already, the creepiness. Because so then, what do I do with this hand? I just left it on the counter because I figured, sorry. Again, if you're not watching now, Melissa is about to spit her water out all over our table. But later on in the day, I maybe have forgotten about it a little bit. And I was talking to somebody on the phone, and as I walked by, I see this hand just sitting on my counter, and I thought, this is so weird. Who sends a severed hand?
Well, apparently that's part of my MO now. I don't know.
In my head, I'm hearing Dr. Evil. Who throws a shoe?
Evil.
Who throws a shoe? I think that's a line from it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who throws a shoe?
So my question is, if the way you do one thing is the way you do all things, then Melissa, what is the
That's a great callback.
That you do that makes you say, I was just send a hand to my friend?
I just was in the moment thinking it was so funny and fun and unexpected.
No, we need a deeper answer than that.
No, I really was. What it was, I don't like to take things too seriously and life too seriously.
Clearly.
And clearly, I had this massive inspired thought, and it made me so happy to buy this little weird hand and send it to you. And I was so excited to see what you were going to say about it. And also, I didn't know maybe what you might mail back to me. So no pressure. And the reason I say this is because when I sent you a paper high five in the mail, she sent me a little note back in the mail like a week or two later. I had gone out of town. I came back and Troy was going through our pile of mail and he's like, honey, I got something from Amanda, I think. I'm real confused. I don't know what it is. And I was like, well, let me see it. And he handed it to me and it was this really cool little note paper. And at the top it said WTF on it. And I was like, what does that mean? I'm just kidding. I didn't think that. No, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is hysterical. And so she filled out this whole like form from this notepad.
My friend Natalie had gotten me this pad, this WTF notepad from when I still worked at the job, and she knew what my situation was. She just thought I needed things like that, but I never knew what to use it for before.
Well,
and then I found it as the second I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay. I know what I have to do now.
So she sent me this WTF note back in the mail unexpectedly, gave me a major belly laugh. It's still sitting on my desk, as a matter of fact. I kind of like stuck it into the side of a picture frame and it's kind of like fanning out on the side. And I walk into my office and I'm like, oh, every time I see it, I love it. And so then when I sent you the hand, I was like, I wonder if she's going to send me back a foot.
Who knows what's gonna happen?
Hopefully,
Well, now you're asking me for a foot. I can't send you a foot.
I mean, maybe you won't send me anything, but I hope you do.
I'm sure you do.
And then that also led us to, we were telling a few stories earlier today when you showed up with the hand about how I used to love to take really creepy spiders, these black, like they look real hairy and real and believable. And I used to love to hide them in Abby's bathroom, my daughter. I would like to hide them in her medicine cabinet. Every once in a while, I'd put one in the shower. It was really fun just to hear her scream.
See, again, we think that Melissa Moats is such a sweet, nice woman. She takes joy in other people's pain.
I've got major PTSD, guys.
In case you didn't hear that, that was Abby, who was just here saying that she has PTSD. And look how funny she thinks it is. She has you all fooled.
I love it, though. It's so great. And then, because it's just funny.
It's so funny that my daughter has PTSD. It's hilarious.
But she got me back so much. I mean, I'm crying right now. No, but what happened was, I don't even know where I was going. Oh, the Scream guy, too. That was a good one.
Scream guy.
We had a 6 foot tall Scream guy that would scream and his face would glow in the dark. You see my tears right now?
I know.
And anyway, one night she was at work. She was a hostess at a restaurant, and I decided to go in her room. That alone was scary for me. I went in her room, can't see the floor or anything in there. Went in her room. I pulled her comforter back on her bed, and I put the Scream guy in her bed, and I very carefully covered him back up. And so, and then I crept back into my room. I knew she'd be home anytime, and I was laying in my bed waiting. I was clutching my comforter, and I heard her come home, and I was like, oh, she's okay. She's brushing her teeth. I was like, oh my gosh, come on, Abby, So anyway, next thing I know, she goes in her room, and I was like, here it goes, here it goes. And then I heard the blood curdling. Her scream is like from a horror movie. It's like blood curdling. So I was laying in bed, and I was like, yes. Got her. But she got me back. She took that thing and she put it in my bathroom, and I turned the corner. This is like a few days later, and she got me pretty good. But you know what? It's just funny. Practical jokes are funny.
It's another one of those things that is subjective. Some people love them. I'm not so much a fan. I wouldn't appreciate any of that.
Yeah.
I can appreciate the severed hand
Yeah.
for its creepiness,
Yeah.
but that wasn't intrusive. I mean, it's a little bit intrusive, but it's not strange, scary Scream Man in my bed.
It's good to know your boundaries.
Yes.
And I want you to know that I actually this week planted a black spider in my guest room nightstand drawer because I want to get my mom.
See? So this isn't so much about what would you tell your younger self. This is about who is Melissa Moats really. And this is a whole hidden side. So would you tell your younger self to,
I would have started sooner. It's so Oh man, but I also love it when people get me back because I'm a good sport about it. Because I mean, I like it when my heart rate goes up.
It's like extra cardio, or okay.
Feel alive.
That's right. It makes me feel alive. Yeah. Whew. All right, man, this was unexpected
I
episode.
told you we were gonna get off topic,
Oh,
but
it's a
Well,
good
here's
one.
the thing. Having fun is such a big part of it, right?
Yes.
It is just
And
fun.
I would say where you're going with that, and I want you to keep talking to us, but
Yes.
that would be one of those good lessons to your younger self is don't forget to have fun.
Yeah. Oh, there you
Don't,
go. See
because-
this? Look how we tied that back in. Good work. Way to.
Yeah, not my first time.
Oh, do you mean I have to be wrangled? Is that what you're saying,
you want
Amanda
to be
McKinnon? Do I need to be wrangled in, like, lassoed and?
Do you want to be wrangled?
No, I'm good.
No.
But-
No. It's good sometimes to come back around. Hopefully
Yeah.
we haven't lost everybody yet.
Yeah, I think people probably are laughing.
I hope so. This is pretty funny, and really need to tune into the video to see the creepiness of the hand.
It is
for
pretty-
the last time I'll say that. But
It's pretty
So
special.
Amanda,
Yeah.
so what do you do, like, because I know for myself, and I'm sure for Melissa too, like, we do a lot of goofy stuff when we're, like, recording by ourselves and, like, all that stuff. Is there something that you do that you're like, oh, I need to, this is something I do? You talk to yourself, or?
I have a very vocal inside voice. It mostly lives inside. Occasionally I'll brainstorm with my cat. Got to talk to somebody, and that's
Yeah.
usually the only one in the house.
Your cat's like,
Yeah, not often. I mean, I try very much to steer clear of the crazy cat lady image because I do like
Yeah.
my cats, but it's.
you're not a crazy cat
I
lady.
understand that they're not my children.
You're a dignified cat
right.
lady.
I'm a dignified, yes.
You are.
But what else do I do that's weird?
Just fun.
Well, I don't know that it's weird, but I listen to a lot of really loud music, and a lot of times I will just put my entire library on shuffle, and it makes me sound like a schizophrenic because my musical tastes are all over the place. And sometimes I do my best work with really loud screaming music. In college and around that time, most of my papers were written to Pink Floyd. More instrumental, not quite as yelling and screaming, but
Okay.
yeah, so the music has to happen for me to work.
That's good to know.
It's always been a big part of my life, but I know that's not weird. A lot of people work.
I like to pay my bills to John Cicada.
Okay.
Do you know who John Cicada is?
I do.
I like to listen to him. He sings in Spanish. I don't even speak Spanish, but I know all the songs in Spanish. And he sings these just really awesome love songs. I have a John Cicada station on my Pandora, and that's who I like to pay bills to.
That's
I don't know
interesting.
why I get really in the mood to pay my bills when I hear John Cicada.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just something that popped in my head.
I like it. I wish I had a weirder ritual because I do work. I work
You
by
do
myself.
put weird powder in your green tea.
But I don't go to. Really, the only time I go to Starbucks is with you, or if I'm having a meeting. I don't regularly go.
You don't
'cause
seek
I don't
it out.
regularly leave the house to buy food or beverages, other than at the grocery store.
Yeah. One
But-
of your weird things is you have don't leave your house Wednesday.
I do have don't leave my house Wednesday.
That's good, but it's weird.
It's weird, but it
But
works
it's
for me.
weirdly good.
It works for me.
I like it. I actually respect it highly.
Thank you.
You're
People
welcome.
think that I'm crazy sometimes, but for them, and I do make exceptions. Obviously, if there's something that I need to do, I'm going to go leave on a Wednesday, or
Yeah. You prefer not to, though.
I prefer not to.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you're pretty awesome.
Thank you. I'm sure I do
welcome.
plenty more weird. If I come up with anything else, I will let you know.
Yeah.
I kind of like the questions. Last week we had a guest who asked us a question. Now we've got Brent chiming in. So if you guys have questions for us, please ask. Help us figure out new topics that you want to hear about. This is fun stuff for us.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah. I'm really having a good time today.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It's something you could tell your younger self. You're gonna have a lot of fun when you get older.
I'd love my younger self to know, how much fun we'd have scaring people with spiders and scream guys. And I would have started a lot sooner for
Right.
real.
Well, this is a little more serious and not business related, but I would tell my younger self to appreciate your metabolism and the amount you can eat when you're younger.
Oh, yeah.
Because it changes when you get older, and then you can't eat as much, and when you do, it affects you in a different way, and it's kind of annoying. When
I'd tell my old self too not to eat quite as much Taco Bell as I ate, because I got kind of fat for a while, and it was just straight up like all Taco Bell. I drank so much Mountain Dew, and I ate
Taco
so
Bell
much.
and Mountain Dew.
That was my
That's a
combo.
That
at like 2 a.m.
I will tell you, in high school, they opened a Taco Bell right next to the TCBY where I worked. And I mean, that thing was huge because they had a 7-layer burrito, which is vegetarian.
Okay.
And I had to eat a lot of them. And people, so for those of you who don't know, I used to be, I'm still thin, but I was scrawny. Like I didn't break 100 pounds until I was 19. Like that was the first time. I ate so much. Like my brother and I would get the 2-foot sub, and sometimes we would each eat 1 foot. Sometimes we would each eat our own 2. Eat a whole pizza, no problem. There's just a lot of food consumption from the time I was a baby. There was just a lot of eating in my life. Like I was always hungry, and as I was active, then I would burn it off fast. I was just always had to eat. And when Taco Bell opened, I mean, because it was affordable.
Yeah.
And I would go to Taco Bell, and sometimes I'd order 4 or 5 7-layer burritos.
Because she had a lot of savings, because she'd been saving 10% of everything. And she's like, this is totally going to be my Taco Bell money.
Yeah, and maybe there was a side of, sometimes there would be Mexican pizzas with no meat, and sometimes there'd be the pintos and cheese on the side. But it was kind of a regular occurrence. And back then I did drink soda still, and so there was some Mountain Dew. And I'm very sensitive to caffeine. I should not have drank that much Mountain Dew. People would give it to me because they saw how I would react. Yeah. So that was, I think I was maybe more fun when I ate poorly and didn't care about my health as much, but I wouldn't change that.
Do you want to go get some Mountain Dew after this?
I don't know that you could pay me to drink Mountain Dew now.
You could hold the straw with your little baby severed hand.
Yeah, I don't think I've had a soda since it's like the early 2000s, maybe. I'm not going to start now.
I do every once in a while. I like a good ice cold Coca-Cola Classic.
Okay.
I like to feel the burn in the back of my throat. That's how I roll.
Whatever works for you.
I just like Coke. A cola.
Really, maybe we should change the name of the episode to Revealing the True Melissa Lewis.
My God. Yeah,
Severed
maybe.
hands.
Hey, we all have
forcing trauma on others.
We all
Love
have
of Coke.
Hey, we all have layers, okay?
We do have layers.
We are layered people.
And maybe that would be a good lesson to your younger self, is to appreciate the layers.
Yeah.
All the different things that make you up. You don't have to be one way or another. You can be all the ways in different times, which kind of contradicts your quote about the way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
Or maybe it means
or it's the same.
Right. It really is. Oh. I love it. No, you know what? Just have fun.
Yeah. I think that'll be our rule number one, which we've said before. We had a whole episode about it.
Fun list. Did you make a fun list?
I did not make a fun list. Even though she yelled at me. Do you guys remember that episode? She got a little snippy with me. Like, well, you need to do it.
I know, I got bossy.
It's kind of one of my favorite clips from that episode.
I know. She sends me all these fun clips that she pulls out. She's like, hey, in case you want to laugh, in case you want to smile. Yeah. And they always make me laugh. But, well, I think, what would you say to yourself, to your future self, listeners and viewers? If you were to go back in time, what would that conversation look like for you? We hope that we helped you kind of ponder that and pose the question. And I just feel like maybe I need a Mountain Dew at this point.
And apparently I have to find a foot to send you.
Yeah.
Severed foot. Creepy severed foot.
Yeah.
In your future.
Well, or something else.
Maybe
mix it up. Can't wait. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for tuning into the Womanpreneur podcast. Until next time, you've got this.